Hi guys, welcome to the second episode of Chivas Chit Chat. Today we're going to be talking about two very interesting topics and one that's specifically related to our university, so stay tuned. I'm Rosamond.
I'm Giovanna.
I'm Mirka.
I'm Gabrielle.
Alright, I think Micah's going to start us off.
Okay, so our first topic is concerning St. Edward's. This past weekend was homecoming here at St. Edward's, which is also called Family Weekend. And Andrea Guzman at Hilltop News wrote an opinion piece speaking about how Family Weekend isn't really family-oriented. There's very few events that are for families, and out of all of those events, I think she said most of them are sports-related or invite-only. So my question is, do you guys think St. Edward's needs to have more family events for family weekends, or does it have enough, or should they just not market it as Family Weekend?
I don't know. I have never taken the initiative to invite my family up here. I think I don't have that much school spirit. But like reading her article, it is obvious that most of the events are sporting, and my family wouldn't care about going to a sports event. So I think it's really left up to like exploring Austin with your family more so than like the St. Edward's community, which is then weird if they're gonna label it Family Weekend.
Yeah, I could see how some people think it's a bit of a misnomer, but on the other hand, I kind of disagree. I think that considering the size of our school, we have enough events to span the weekend, and honestly I think people do like to do different activities off campus, so it's kind of a toss-up. But
I think one thing she mentioned was that some of those events are campus tours, which I don't think are really necessary since, you know, the student already goes to school here, and I'm sure the parent brought them on a tour when they were applying or has visited them, dropping them off, whatever it may be. They've seen the school. It doesn't really need to be a tour. I definitely think they should come up with more events that are different. I know last year I visited one of my friends at her school for Family Weekend, and the beginning of Family Weekend is not really a tailgate, but it's a huge cookout where you sit with other families and you get to know other students.
oh,
And that's not something
That's
that
really
they hear.
cool.
Yeah, it was really fun.
Maybe the campus stores are supposed to be like, hey mom, hey dad, this is where I got wasted and
Actually, the
I
campus
don't know.
tours, I gave some campus tours last year during homecoming weekend. So it's really catered to show alumni or older alumni who are coming back to visit the university, like the kind of improvements the university has made to like its infrastructure and things like that. So I think it's catered more towards that demographic. When I gave tours last year, it was not really many prospective students, but usually that's what tours are catered towards, like those prospective students.
Well, are you talking about the
Tenth.
family weekend tours or
Yeah,
the
no.
welcome days?
No, the homecoming weekend.
Oh.
That's what the tours are like catered for. So I remember last year I gave a tour to this like family who was here when like the university was only males.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Was it? Or when they integrated women, like during that kind of period. So they were like, this is so cool. And they were so surprised with like JBWS and JBWN. They're like, wow, such improvement.
science
Amazing.
building.
That's how we're
It was
gonna
really
look at the
interesting. It
pavilion.
was really interesting, which makes
Yeah.
you think homecoming weekend also kind of caters to alumni. And kind of, I think it catered to alumni because my sister's an alumni.
Yeah.
She came here and she felt very welcomed. And I know there was a certain tent, I believe it was the Spring Break Experience tent that really catered to alumni specifically, I felt, because they asked alumni who came by if you went through a service break experience, what was it that you went through, which really I felt engaged her with students. So I thought that was cool. Shout out
But
to tent.
that's still like not family,
Yeah.
though.
That's true.
And I think the events that are for families, TBH, are a bit awkward. Like at Casino Night on Friday,
A lot of
it
people
was
say that.
very weird to
'Cause
see
you ha-
people's like dads and stuff around. Like you're not gonna dance to Bad and Bougie. Like what are your parents doing? It was just awkward, and I think I don't know.
It felt a little bit high schoolish.
Yeah,
Casino
I
night?
hate to say that.
it felt like
I
a
love Casino
chaperone.
Night.
No,
Me
it's like it's
too.
really fun, but like with the parents there,
Yeah.
like kind of in the background, it was a little bit
Yeah.
interesting. But I was talking to an alumni, and her husband, she came to in support of her husband, and they were both alumni.
Mhm.
And he was actually one of the card dealers, like working the blackjack table. Really cool lady. But she was saying that when she went here, she graduated in like 2001.
Mhm.
When she came here, her experience with casino night was that it was only students, and so there were like no parents. And so
Really?
I wonder, yeah, and so it kind of
So
makes
when
me
did it
wonder-
start? Like that they started integrating families or bringing parents?
That's a good question. I think it might have just been like a cultural thing, like
Mhm.
students just didn't ask their parents to come. So I don't know. It's kind of weird to think about how it may have changed over the years.
Yeah. Well, it is a thing that most universities do, family weekend, but they usually do it in the fall semester. So I think it's interesting that they do hours with homecoming.
Yeah.
Oh,
I
it's
don't know.
usually two separate things?
Yeah, well, I know at my friend's school, and I've heard my cousin's schools as well, there are two separate things where they do, family-specific weekends, and then they have a homecoming where parents are also invited, but it's not family-specific.
I think we're also like a huge disadvantage because we don't have a football culture.
That's true.
In
Like,
Texas?
okay, at St. Ed's, we don't have a football culture.
No,
What?
yeah, that's what I'm saying.
It's down in Texas. So I think people get here and they're like, I guess I'll support rugby.
Yeah.
And then you watch the guys like run across the field and like hold each other, and you don't know what's happening, but it's kind of like football.
I mean, they're fun. They are fun sporting events, but it's not like, like you would go to UT for a massive football game. It's very different.
But do you think we need like massive sporting teams in order to have like family-oriented events?
I think we need to get creative. So I think that if our school decides this is really something that we want to do full on, as opposed to where we're at right now with very limited events, then I think we'd have to come up with some sort of like art symposium or like a giant
But there
maze.
I believe there was the humanities did.
The art project at the library.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was also presented.
It's like smaller though, from what I saw.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not the whole university. it's
That's
just-
true.
Yeah.
Humanities isn't the entire university, it's only a portion.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I think that just, like, the discussion on homecoming and family weekend just points to the lack of school spirit at St. Ed's. And that's always bothered me, and I know for a lot of students. But it's like I was saying earlier, it's like a chicken with the egg thing. If we had more events, then would we have more school spirit, or is it like we need the school spirit so that we can have the events? I don't know. I think one thing that I've always thought was odd is that there's no weekend programming.
Yeah.
And
That's weird. Because
Yeah.
everyone leaves campus to go
Exactly.
to parties and events off campus.
yeah, and I think it would greatly help school spirit on campus if we did have weekend programming. It doesn't have to be anything like crazy every weekend,
Just
but
like a
some
movie
type
night
of
or
programming.
something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, but the large part about making or like why people have been hesitant to make events during the weekend, because I'm an RA and I try to make events during the weekend, but I just know I'm not going to have a high attendance rate. That's just something that happens. Like, will students be willing to attend these events if I invest all my time, if I invest money, if I invest the resources to create these events for these people? And it's kind of thinking about, like, is it worth it? But if that's something the students want, then it's something that student leaders should work on,
Yeah.
and faculty.
Yeah.
And we also have a huge commuter population to
Yes.
consider, so.
Yeah.
Anthony Daniel is watching right now, and he's asking, why can't they make the tailgate much bigger like they make Hillfest?
That's something I was thinking about
That's
because
a good point.
Hillfest is really fun, especially this year when we had the
Oh,
Ferris
yeah.
wheel. It was so much fun. They bring
It's a lot
food
of fun.
trucks, and I think if they did something like that for family weekend, it would be great. Not only for the students, but also parents that come visit, and everyone would enjoy it, especially for parents that come from out of state, because they get to see what the a small portion of Austin with the food trucks.
I think it's more worth it to spend that amount of money and effort on the tailgate during homecoming than during Hillfest. I mean, I know Hillfest is like, when is it? It's like in the beginning of the school year, right? So it's to get you in the groove of like, yeah, this is a fun school, but then it's like the rest of the year doesn't go that way. So I think it's definitely more beneficial to have it during that time, because then you show alumni, if you're really trying to like portray
Impress
this
them.
image, I
Yeah.
guess.
Yeah.
But I think something we have to keep in mind, I'm sorry, is that St. Edward's is trying to, I feel, they're trying to hold on to like the Holy Cross Valley, which I feel is important, and they're trying to highlight that through their events, which is something I felt that homecoming weekend tries to do, with like with homecoming ending with the service mass on
like
Sunday, which
Yeah.
I thought was a great event.
Definitely.
But I wonder, are there enough events for like younger siblings? And I think maybe that's where we're seeing a lack of events.
Well, what kind of events would younger siblings like?
Good crayon table. I don't know.
They had crayons at home.
I think like a Ferris wheel, like Hill Fest.
Exactly. No.
Or like
Hill
live
Fest-
music.
There we go. Thank you for saving me.
Yeah.
Ferris
Or the
wheel.
live music that we also have at Hillfest. Well, I think this year we just had like a DJ, but last year we had
The
some
DJ.
bands, didn't we?
Yeah. I think that definitely caters to a wider like age range.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, because it's one of the main points Andrea makes in her article is that what are kids supposed to do?
Yeah.
And the answer is nothing.
Crayon table.
Crayon table in the library, I guess.
But yeah, and she also talks about her experience like bringing her dad to homecoming weekend, and she said she had a really hard time like balancing
Yeah.
like her friends and her dad, and so this year she's just like, no dad, stay home.
Yeah.
And it's like,
That's sad.
yeah,
Which is
I think there should be events for just parents. Like parents should be able to have like their own thing. It doesn't have to be with the student at all times.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Anthony Daniels said for young kids they could have a goat petting zoo, which would be really fun.
There was one goat.
Yeah, they bring like one goat, but
There's a
also
furry
like
one this year too.
I don't know if they've done it this year, but I remember last year when they would bring the bunnies and the chickens and all that, they could do that too, or the puppies.
Jenna Heath says, oh, that's our advisor. She says the School of Humanities had a day of programming such as author readings and wonderful student art show and reception. Do you think events like these are interesting to parents? I brought my family to the art show and my daughter who's 10 and a budding artist really enjoyed it. Yeah, Caroline is like on another level. That's Jenna Heath's daughter. She's on another level of brilliance. So of course she would enjoy it. I think that's a great direction, and I think the university as a whole could take some pointers from the School of Humanities. I think that's a kind of event that,
Especially as a liberal arts
Yeah.
school.
yeah, like kind of like a showcase thing, showing off the different things student works and like
I would be
different things
interested.
like that.
Yeah, I'd be interested to see how that works.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, we have so many majors and minors offered.
Mm.
What would it look like if each of those kind of like upped their game?
Yeah.
Where's the incentive to do that? Because I know staff and faculty are so busy.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So
And I think it's also so strange that we don't see faculty members here during homecoming weekend.
Yeah.
It's like, where do they go? I mean, I get it with
Their life.
a majority of our faculty are adjuncts, so they really don't have any type of tie or commitment to be here. But I think that also I think it helps to contribute to the lack of school spirit, because it's not just about students having school spirit. It's like if the faculty do too, then it helps the whole cause. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
I
Well,
think this. Sorry, you go first.
Okay. I was just thinking, how could we help integrate like faculty members that are adjuncts? You know what I mean?
Mm.
Like, what can we do on our end
Mhm.
to welcome them in and let them know, hey, we respect you and we want to see more of you.
We should have like an adjunct appreciation day. You could say that.
Definitely.
I think they have something like that.
Mhm.
I'm not sure exactly the extent of it, but I think there's something about that. But I think, like during homecoming week specifically, since that we're talking about, each school should be tasked with putting on some type of a program
Definitely.
to showcase what their school is doing.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And that would get the adjuncts involved. They would have to be a part of it because they're the backbone behind
They
a lot
are.
of what we
That
do
will also
here.
involve more students, because
Yeah.
not
Yeah.
all students are involved in like student life
Yeah.
or in
That's
other
true.
student life, student experience aspects.
Mm.
A lot of people are involved with their academics and
Yeah.
they're like at specific schools. This will probably be a great way for more of those students to get involved during
Mhm.
homecoming weekend.
Mhm.
Invite their families.
I wonder if we could also have people who have presented source or symposium projects present a second time in like an auditorium setting.
Mhm.
I know that's kind of geeky or whatever, but I mean, it's college. It's going to
Well,
really
I
Yeah.
think, and I also think alumni would be very interested in that, and the
And
donors that
parents.
come.
Parents would want to see
Mhm.
what their students have been up to. I think we just gave a lot of really,
Really good
good
ideas.
pointers to
Totally.
UPD or whoever
Yeah.
puts this on.
Yeah.
You wanna?
Sure, let me just
Hold
pull
on.
up my little. Oh yeah. So on the next topic, the Oklahoma State Legislature has advanced a bill that would require pregnant women seeking abortions to get permission from the father. The legislation, which was proposed by Oklahoma Representative Justin Humphrey, would require women to get written consent from the child's father and to identify the father in writing. So the measure would not apply in case of rape, incest, or or if the woman's life is in danger. So what do y'all think about that?
So this is the same representative that referred to women as hosts, and that's where a lot of the feedback has come from, people just really lashing out. Why would you refer to women as hosts? And I think that is really problematic, but honestly, like, you guys may disagree, but I kind of am okay with this. I think, coming from a feminist perspective, I think if feminism is supporting the equality of the sexes as a whole, that includes, like, fighting for equality for men as well. And I know a lot of times what feminists talk about is how the justice system typically awards custody to the moms, and that's a problem. And I think this could help with that. I mean, if it takes two people to make a child, it should take two people to determine that. But I do understand that there's a lot of loopholes to it, because how do you even prove that? How would a woman prove that, oh, it was a rape, so I don't need the permission? There's just a lot of things that haven't been well thought out, but I don't think it's something that we should just completely dismiss. And I mean, his language is like crazy. But I think it's something that's worth thinking about. Like, what role can fathers play in abortion?
It's a conversation worth starting, trying to involve males, because at least what I read in the article is that they wanted more male involvement in a female's reproductive life. And I thought that was quite an interesting argument, I think.
Yeah, I think it's interesting. I mean, what I thought initially before I really read into it was that obviously if the woman was in an abusive relationship, or if it's, you know, someone who's not the father, or someone who's not in her life anymore, she shouldn't be required to reach out to them.
That could be problematic.
Yeah. But if it's someone that's still in her life, whether they're still, you know, partners or not, or they're just friends, or they still talk but they're not really together anymore, I think the father should be told. I think they should be required to give consent. But if she's on her own and she's independent, then, you know, it should be fully hers. Obviously, if it's rape, it should be her full consent.
Yeah.
Well, I think a lot of times it could be extremely difficult to parse out, is the father in the life or not?
Yeah. How do you prove that?
I mean, even in, you know, college relationships that don't involve a pregnancy, it can be extremely difficult to kind of know where you stand. And if you have a turbulent relationship, which sometimes women do have those turbulent relationships, then it could be, I don't know, increasingly complicated to figure out.
Yeah.
That's something to think about.
I think it just wasn't well thought out, and I definitely don't think this bill should pass, but I also don't think we should dismiss it, because I don't know, I just think that there's a problem with dismissing men when it comes to issues of reproduction, men that are personal or like relating to you, not like men in the Senate or something deciding your reproductive rights, of course, but like a man in your family. I think it's destructive to just completely take men out of the equation.
But you think even if the man or the father is fully involved in the woman's life, they're fully there to support them, if the woman decides to not want the baby, is that wrong of the woman to just decide that on her own?
Well, I think that brings into question, whose baby is it? Like, is it just my baby because I have the womb, or is it
the
our
state's
baby? Yeah.
Does the baby belong to the state?
And these are all really difficult questions that obviously people have been like wrangling with for a long time. But I don't know. I think it brings up a interesting conversation.
Yeah. Well, and I mean, if you're just looking at the argument from a perspective of what it's trying to accomplish, in the debate, are men's rights really the number one thing that we should be focusing our energy on in this debate? Is this really going to solve the problem? And you know, a lot of men, I don't know, it's a good question, I think, to ask people who are pro-choice, and the inverse.
I don't think men's rights are the primary thing in debate for sure. But like I said, I also don't think it should just be completely removed from the conversation.
Yeah.
I think if the father knows that the woman is pregnant, then he should also know that if she's gonna have an abortion or not. But obviously, if she hasn't told him, then it's just her. If it's only in her knowledge, then I don't think he's necessarily required to know.
Yeah. There's just no way of checking any of these because it's a he said, she said thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's going to be high, high intensity.
Yeah,
It's a life on the line, supposedly.
Yeah. I don't know. It's just difficult.
It's very complicated. The whole issue of abortion is very complicated because
Mm.
there's always going to be people opposing it.
And it's almost correlated, not completely separate, but correlated to abortion rights and reproductive rights. I think having male involvement and in a female's reproductive life, they almost sound like two separate things because I feel like the one that Representative Humphrey in Oklahoma was trying to do, at least from my perspective, is that he's just trying to find this like equal baseline in which women and men can be involved in the reproduction of their child. And I think the whole abortion, anti-abortion is almost a separate argument, not completely different, but almost separate, looking at different kinds of things related to what women need for their bodies in terms of like abortion, abortion rights, reproductive rights. Because I know there was a bill earlier this year in Texas that was trying to ban abortions or make it illegal for women to get abortions. And that was a completely different argument than what Representative Humphrey was trying to say.
I mean, I think
they're all falling into the same role.
He was definitely hasty because he talked to the Oklahoman and he said, I have the quote here, the thing that I wanted to spark in a debate is that fathers have a role. Exactly where that role is, I'm not sure. So I feel like at that point, if you're not even sure what the role is, then why are you writing a piece of legislation and trying to pass that? I think it was very hasty and it might just kind of demean what good could have possibly come from this, you know?
Yeah.
Almost sounds like he's trying to create more problems than solutions.
Yeah.
Almost.
Yeah. I think people who are, heavily anti-abortion are quick to try to come up with things rather than, waiting to, find a proper way that you can even get people who are pro-abortion to agree with you or see your perspective.
In the greater context of this debate, I've heard a lot of criticism that the two sides just talk past each other. And I think you guys may have seen this in debates and stuff, but I think that for the purpose of figuring out what is the best legislation, I mean, both groups have the same goal, right? We want to reduce abortions. The left side doesn't think abortions are like a fun thing to do on a Saturday night. Like, believe me, no one wants to have an abortion. But the question is, how can we come together, stop talking past each other, and figure out how to make our society better? And it's a tough one.
Yeah, I think it's just, I don't know. I was talking with Jenna Heath. I hope she's still watching, but we were talking about this after class, and I was telling her how, because a lot of the times, pro-life people are coming from the perspective of Christianity and faith and saying, my faith does not allow this, but not to give you all a little sermon or anything, but one thing that Jesus preaches is also free will, and I think that's something that a lot of times Christians don't think about, and it's that regardless of what the Bible says about all of these, at the end of the day, each person has the free will to decide specifically how they want to interpret it, and it's up to them and their faith to decide. It's up to them to make that decision and to deal with whatever the repercussions of it, whether you believe there is going to be a penalty in the afterlife for it or not. That's definitely one of Jesus's main teachings that I think is not convenient for our Christianity today, so people just brush over it. And during this election, I made the decision to not let issues like abortion or gay marriage be a factor in what I vote, because I think it's just something so divisive that there's no productive conversation around it. It's just
talking
screaming.
past again.
So I'm just like, I'm done I don't want to be part of that. There's more productive things to look at. The economy, our foreign policies, those are things that we can all get behind, that we want safer borders, whatever that takes, that we want better relationship with our allies, so that's what I was focusing more on.
I mean, I hear you all out, but at the same time, even those issues that you said you wouldn't focus on, they also still have correlations to economy. Even like getting abortions, that costs money. You need the money. If you don't have the money, taxes will pay for it. That kind of thing, it still involves economics. So as much as we want to avoid all these difficult conversations, it's so important to understand the issues at hand and understand that they affect every part of our institution. And I really like how you brought up the Jesus sermon, because since we are a Catholic institution, it's important to understand what it is that like institutionally St. Edward's stands for, because it is a Catholic institution.
Yeah.
Our stream got disrupted a little bit, but we're back.
The technology gods are not in our favor, but that's okay. We're here.
Speaking of God.
Oh my God.
So, of course, we kept talking after the camera stopped working. So to catch you up, we were basically discussing how many times, especially like on the St. Edward's community, we just don't have like a lot of conservative people. I know like 2 conservative people out of like 800. Like, so we were mostly wondering how do we approach this from a different angle.
Right.
Because I know during this election period, that's one criticism of the, I think people are calling it the what is it, the social media election, just like social media played such a big part in the election. And one criticism of that is everyone is just in their own bubbles, and you're kind of in an echo chamber, and everything that you interact with just reflects your own views. And I definitely feel like that's what the culture at St. Edward's is. And it's really, I don't think it's beneficial at all to any of us. I know like for me in the past, with Hilltop Views, I wrote a lot of conservative pieces on relating to sexuality and abortion, and people don't comment or like give you feedback when you write like sensible things about the administration, but when you write a pro-life viewpoint, everyone was in my emails and my DMs like just going off, and I feel like it creates a really just not a great learning environment, because the whole point of college is to be exposed to a variety of views.
Yeah. Well, and my question is, I mean, if you're a student watching at home and you've been here for 4 years, or you've been here for 2 years, even 6 weeks, right? We're at the 6-week mark. Have your views begun to evolve? Have they begun to change now that you're in this, highly academic arena, that you can have conversations with people who are learning loads of stuff for 15, 18 hours a week? If the answer is no, we have to change something.
Yeah.
Maybe it is that, maybe at large, maybe St. Edward's University has a more progressive population as opposed to a more conservative population. Maybe that may be true, maybe it's not true. We don't know, because maybe those conservative students or faculty don't speak out enough about those views in a respectful manner. And it's the same way for the other side as well. It's just important to make sure that within our St. Edward's community, we're having both kind of conversations and understanding that like in an academic setting, in a respectful setting, because it truly is important. Because on Facebook, earlier today, I was trying to like add myself onto like Facebook groups, like like congressmen, like people, just to understand like different kinds of political views. So I followed a lot of people from different kinds of from the different sides of the spectrum, just to understand views. But even then, a lot of those groups were private on both sides, completely both sides. Like
That's funny.
So I couldn't. There's no way unless it was just like congressmen. But even then, it's just like a bunch of events that they do themselves.
But even in classes, you still see that. Like
People shut down. Oh gosh.
I'm in a Black Freedom Struggle class with Amy Wright, great class. I'm also in a Gender and Globalization class with Alex. I can't remember her last name.
Wonderful Alex.
She's really
wonderful.
But in both of those classes, it's just the same opinions and the same perspectives. Or when they're highly discussion-based classes,
Like
And it's
hive
just-
mind.
Yeah, and it's just always the same thing being repeated over and over. And if I ever disagree with anything that we're talking about in the class, which sometimes I do, I don't say it because God forbid I am not going to be the one
Yeah.
that gets roasted in front of this whole class. So I think it's just not conducive.
Yeah, I've noticed that. I had my American Dilemmas class last semester, which covers mine was civic engagement, so we covered a lot of social justice topics, and it was during the election, so a lot of it was very relevant. And I remember one time the professor said something, because he would try to focus us on like understanding other perspectives, especially perspectives that we didn't agree with, and understanding where they came from. So I remember one time he said something that kind of sounded, very wrong, but I understood where he was trying to come from, and everyone just got really angry in the class. And you could tell that there was very few conservative, well, I assume there were conservative people in that class, and they wouldn't speak up. And when we would have, when we would have course discussions where we would have, circle groups, and we all had to kind of put in our 2 cents of this prompt, they would usually just, pass the talking stick or whatever. They wouldn't put in their own perspective. And I think that there is conservatives here on campus, but I feel like they're kind of afraid of the backlash they'll get.
Yeah.
I think that's so strange. I think, like, when I tell people back home, like, that I go to St. Edward's University and they hear Saint, they assume it's, like, thriving with
Really
conservative opinions. And it's like, isn't that so weird that we're at a Catholic university, but most of the student body is so liberal? Why do y'all think that is?
Not necessarily. So I think conservative views and liberal views are mostly based on what region you're in the United States. So for instance, if you go to the Northeast, if you go to places like New Jersey, New York, even Pennsylvania, there are well-established Catholic communities that are Democrats, and they believe in social welfare, and they believe in the right to have choice, these sorts of things. And then when you come to the South and you hit the Bible Belt, then those opinions become more prevalent. I think. So I think the answer for that could be that it's regional.
That we're in Austin, because it's definitely not a Texas thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, I know when I talk to my friends who know that, I work at Hilltop Youth, they always tell me, oh, well, you guys need to have more conservative point of views. And I'm like, well, write one. And then they're like, no, I wouldn't write one. Exactly. But I feel like that's one of the biggest complaints the newspaper gets, that we're very liberal and we don't have enough conservative point of views. But the people who say that don't want to write conservative point of views for us.
Yeah.
So their lack of participation has hindered our ability to understand their side of the story.
But I think it's worth noting, I mean, if you are really looking, like I said earlier, to change, to grow, to become a global thinker, to take on your world, then you want to hear those different opinions. And I know for me personally, I'm extremely liberal, but I want my views challenged. All day, every day, bring it on, challenge me, make me think, make me say, I don't know. And then I can grow. And so that's something else.
Yeah.
I think it's also dangerous, and I think this is one of the, I know people have been trying to find an answer to how did we not see Trump's win coming. And I think this is one of the answers to it, that we assume that if someone believes one thing, they believe everything else in that line. So if you are pro-choice, you're definitely all of these other things. If you're pro-life, you're all of these other things. And if you're black, you believe all of these. If you're white, you believe all of these. And it's like we make all these assumptions about people, but it's like we all live on a spectrum, and if you identify with one belief doesn't mean you identify with all of the other beliefs that may be attached to it. And I think it's destructive, because like I know professors who in class assume that the student body thinks a certain way, and so they are not shy at teaching with that viewpoint in mind. So I don't know.
Yeah. I've definitely noticed that, because I've changed my major twice, but definitely with my journalism professors, I noticed that they try to go for a more unbiased view, even when we're talking about politics.
That's true. That's true.
I've had a few journalism professors in the past. I started last semester. I could never tell who they were going to vote for or who they were rooting for. They kept a very unbiased view, and I think that was very professional of them.
Important.
And other professors who don't teach journalism, who just teach regular other lecture classes, I can easily tell their perspective, and they're not afraid, to say that, whether they be anti-Trump or anti-Clinton, they weren't afraid to say that, and no students ever like got mad at them or anything. But I've noticed that they they think they know what the student body believes. Like they're like, "What is this liberal school? It's obviously going to be more democratic."
Yeah.
Well, then, do you think the just like conservatives being afraid to speak up on this campus has to do with maybe where Seneds is hiring from? Because I think professors have a huge role in shaping the culture on the campus. Yeah, they're only here 9 to 5 and then they're gone. But okay, some classes are later than that. But maybe 9 to 5.
Like I'm at 9:30.
But do you think they maybe have a bigger role in shaping just the culture, the liberal culture that we have here?
I think they definitely do a good job at helping facilitate the culture, but I do think at large it's the students that really make the culture, if that makes sense. Because at least in my experience, my political science professors have done a great job at being just very like objective and just stating facts, and you really don't know what they are or where they lie on the spectrum. And that kind of leaves the students with the opportunity to interpret their words in their own way and in their own beliefs. So, and with that, the students will take lead in their own initiatives and whatever they believe in on campus with their friends, with larger groups of people. So yes, I think professors help us teach us how to do that in an academic setting, and they help facilitate how we can have academic conversations on our views, which I think is wonderful.
Yeah.
But I think it is the students that create that culture, that liberal culture that we refer to.
So then maybe it's where Seneds is admitting students from. Since we were talking about
Miss Pflugerville.
we were talking about geography.
I love Pflugerville. Okay, I don't want to live there again, but it's a good place. What I was thinking is, I mean, we do have a certain reputation at St. Ed's, and I know oftentimes we're referred to as the closet on the hill. And so,
really,
yes,
I've never heard
this
that.
is true.
That?
I learned this the first time I visited, and I don't know.
From who?
There's an alumni that I was connected with, and she was like, we're sitting like right in front of the city line by main building, and she was like, "Hey, by the way, we're called Closet on the Hill," and I was like, "Oh, okay."
wow,
It's kind of fun.
I did not know that.
Me neither.
Well, I think that's all we have for today. Thank you so much for tuning in. Sorry about the technical problems. And we'll see you next week.
And thank you for your comments.
Yeah, feel free to leave comments.
See you guys next week.
See ya.
Bye.